When it comes to being the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom looks like it's going to improve on the game in many different matters, if not all of them. And when it comes to one of those specific low points of Breath of the Wild, we have to talk about the enemy variety. Although there is a bunch of colors and elemental types, Breath of the Wild only had 11 kinds of different enemies. So in the spirit of the season, I want to put together a video of all of the enemies that I want to see from past Zelda games that weren't in Breath of the Wild appear in Tears of the Kingdom, especially the spooky ones. But HMK, what about the new enemies? Well, I want to know what they are if they're new, right? So if you're down for that, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I have Zelda content coming every week. Strap on in for the safety of hype. Let's dive directly into the darkness. Okay, first things first, we gotta get out of the way. I want Starfalls to come back, and we're not counting whatever that was over in Breath of the Wild. Stal Moblins, Stal Azaflos, Stal Bacablos, Stal Henlocks, no. Starfalls, actual Starfalls, human skeletons that are able to wield a sword and really put down the business on you. I mean, come on, considering how many people died during the calamity, I'm pretty sure you have a surplus of skeletons you can reanimate. Other enemies include Wolfos, and I'm talking specifically of the werewolf variant of the Wolfos, the one that can stand up on 2 legs. And while I'm not too fond of spooters, I want to be freaked out just a smidge in what seems to be a darker aspect of a Zelda game in Tears of the Kingdom. So bring on the Skulltulas. Those were definitely creepy. And speaking of creepy, what about wall masters and floor masters? Do any of y'all remember the first time you were killed by a wall master in Ocarina of Time? That was definitely nightmare inducing in my opinion. And talking about other creepy things, I would love to have like-likes come back, especially since we have disposable shields. You would think these enemies would be all over the place and just take up like 1, 2, or even 3 shields. Can you imagine being consumed by a like and it takes 3 shields in your inventory at random? While this ceiling hanging thing from the second trailer of Tales of the Kingdom kind of looks like a like to me, I would like that hard confirmation. But you know what's something I would really like to see? Deku Babas that grow from malice mixing with plants, since the furious red malice seems to be spreading everywhere this time around in Hyrule. But let's dial it back to the undead enemy variants that we've seen throughout The Legend of Zelda that weren't in Breath of the Wild, but could make a big splash in Tears of the Kingdom. How about Pose? Breath of the Wild did kind of mess around with the idea of spirits or those that passed on into the afterlife coming back as ethereal ghosts, but most of the time they were allies. So how about let's get some ill-natured dark spirits that could definitely antagonize Link within the Dark of Night. With the land of Hyrule definitely getting messed up in Tears of the Kingdom, that could create unrest of all those that have been buried over time. And something tells me we're going to be dealing a lot with the concept of spirits in Tears of the Kingdom, so seeing the other side of the coin in the idea of Pose would make a lot of sense. But those are beings without form. If we're going to talk about the undead with form, then I want to see the return of Redeads. Seeing Redeads evolve and change throughout the Legend of Zelda series, but being missing from Breath of the Wild, had me with a huge need to see how they'll be designed and how that blood-curdling scream is going to be portrayed in a game like this. And maybe throw some Gibdos in there while you're at it. But then, of course, we have to bring in the nightmare itself, the Dead Hands. The Dead Hand has only been in one Zelda game, and I need this thing to come back. Definitely one of the most unsettling enemies in terms of Zelda creation. I would love to see an updating, frightening take on this iconic enemy. But let's talk about some dark, menacing enemies, such as Darknuts. For these giant armor-clad enemies to return in Tears of the Kingdom could prove really challenging when it comes to Breath of the Wild's own unique battle style that we're going to see evolved in the sequel. And with evolution in terms of ability, we're going to need enemies that can keep up with that. But if we're talking about Darkness, you would also think we have to talk about Iron Knuckles too, right? Well, the thing is, Iron Knuckles turned out to be Gerudos under all that armor. So if Iron Knuckles were to return, that will be incredibly messed up, but it will make a lot of sense considering that Ganondorf is back and he has a lot of malice to use for persuasion. You know what I mean, brainwashing. But all these enemies are enemies that we've seen before in The Legend of Zelda. What about new enemies, HMK? Well, there is a set of enemies that haven't been in the Zelda game that I would love to see in Tears of the Kingdom. And what I'm talking about is the concept art for the Guardians. But you're probably saying Guardians are already in the game. No, not those. No, these are not Guardians. I don't know what they are, but they are not Guardians. I refuse to believe so. These Eldritch horrors need to be adapted in some way, shape, or form to have their moment in the dying light within the darkness, because I would love to face whatever these things are. Imagine running away from one of these things underground. Nintendo probably won't want people to freak out too much, but I'm like, they can take it. And with that, these are the wildly spooky enemies that I want to see return within that of Tears of the Kingdom. Enemy variety is definitely number one on the list from things that need to be fixed from Breath of the Wild going into Tears of the Kingdom, and I feel that if they were to add all of these and possibly more, we would be good to go. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave what enemy you want to see back the most in Tears of the Kingdom from a past Zelda game, and your comments and theories in the comment section below while you're liking, sharing, and subscribing to HMK for more Zelda content every week. Big thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, check out my info in the description box below while grabbing some merch over at my shop at Fourth Wall. Alright guys, until the next video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.